In this episode we designed a bunch of Halloween themed jerseys, but today we are doing something a little different. Recently we asked you guys if you'd rather see popular clubs or smaller underrated ones, and the results were pretty clear. So today we are focusing on the smaller brands. Well, we'll feature one extremely popular club too, but just one. Every single design will have its own unique vibe, so subscribe and enjoy. Let's start with the one of the most recognizable teams in this episode, Sunderland. They're known as the Black Cats, which fits perfectly with the Halloween theme. Since their kits usually have red and white stripes, we wanted to keep that style, obviously. We turned the red parts black, cat vibes, and we got stuck for a little bit. We tried making the stripes look more grunge, a bit scarier, but honestly it just felt very boring, not very creative. So we went back to researching the clubs for this video, and we actually thought about dropping Sunderland completely because we had really no idea what to do with it, but then it hit us. What's wide and vertical? Well, a lot of things, yeah, but we are thinking bones. So we covered the whole jersey with them. It took us a while to find the right layout and style, but we finally nailed it. We'll tweak them in a second, because right now they are also looking very boring. But first let's drop the logos in the middle. They actually fit really well there. We just had to erase the center bone just to make some space for them. Then we added some of them on the sleeves and upper part of the shirt too. We threw some texture over all the bones, and the back is pretty similar. Number, name, and one final detail, a tiny black cat head above the name. Done. That's our Halloween Sunderland concept. And now a little fun fact, this is what the first sketch of the jersey looked like. Don't laugh please. Next up, something totally different and honestly pretty unexpected, I guess. We're heading to Azerbaijan for Qarabağ Agdam, the dark horse of this year's Champions League. Literally, the logo has horses on it. So it was a pretty quick idea. We went with a headless horseman concept. Yeah, it's a pretty simple one. So we started with a clean base, added some white accents, and at the bottom placed a horse. But we erased the head, obviously. We also added a few black details near the bottom to blend better with their black shirts. And finally, maybe we overdid it, but you tell us, we added some trees in the background. So the horse is riding through a spooky forest or something like that, like through the Champions League group stage. There are some pretty scary matchups for them. We also needed some details to make it a little more realistic, patches, better colors and so on. And that's when we realized, wait, the horse actually needs a head and we need a horseman too. That's how the mythical headless horseman looked like. So yeah, we had to fix it. The back is super simple too. We picked this player because honestly, if commentators saw that name, they'll probably get scared too. Let us know if we should explore more of these lesser known clubs. For example, we've got Kazakh club in the Champions League this season. Maybe that's a good direction. Let us know. And now it's time for a more familiar name, but still not a massive club, Valencia. Kinda obvious choice, right? Like, they have a bat in the logo. But don't worry. It's a pretty popular club, but the next one will be a much smaller team from the third division actually. Anyway, we started by designing a few bats and placing them around the shirt. Then added the logos, of course, and a nice little detail near the collar. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But it still felt too empty. We thought about adding more bats, maybe even some trees like in the last concept, but that didn't really work. So we tried something else. We added that bat wing pattern. We moved the design to the back. Honestly, it could have ended there, but we wanted to see, a more Halloween version. This one looks like Batman a little. So we mixed red and yellow from the logo and ended up with this orange kit. Yeah, and still the yellow one is probably better, but we'll let you decide. And we would love to design kits for everyone who asked, but that's just not possible. There is like hundreds of comments, and each video takes around 3 weeks to make, and YouTube doesn't exactly pay well for this kind of content. So we created a short course that teaches you everything you need to know to start designing your own jerseys. No experience needed. You'll be able to create kits for yourself, your friends, or even your club. Links in the description. You will also find our Discord server there. Post your designs, get feedback, and grab some free stuff for Discord members only. And let's go. Now we are heading to Italy, but not the first tier, not even the second tier. We are going all the way to Serie C, Benevento Calcio. The logo is super unique and honestly perfect for this theme. Obviously, for this design we focus on the witch, right? It ties into the legends of the witches of Benevento. They all believe that Benevento was the meeting place for Italian witches. Yeah, thanks Wikipedia. And yeah, we played around with a bunch of Halloween style ideas, then we added some gradients. We even tried adding a huge witch at the bottom, but that was a very bad idea. It just didn't look good. So we went simpler, maybe less creative, but cleaner. So we brought back the tree motif. It fits because you can imagine the witch flying over the forest. Without sponsor logos and with a bigger club crest, it would pop even more. So for the special edition jersey, we went with that idea. So here is the front and back of the Benevento Calcio kit, definitely the smallest club in today's lineup. And now for a total contrast, Manchester United, the biggest team of this episode. But don't worry, we'll go back to the smaller clubs soon, so still to the end. But the Red Devils fits the scary vibe perfectly. And it seems easy, but honestly, this one gave us the most trouble. We started with devil eyes up top and horns on the sides. Well, it ended up looking more like claws, so it didn't really make any sense. Then we tried a flame concept. We spent a lot of time figuring out how to place them. We tried a bunch of different textures and some outlines, gradients and so on, and yeah, that they weren't great. Actually, we've already done something similar before with the Powerpuff Girls devil design. All subscribers could remember it. We even made an episode where we explained the whole design process, but we removed it. You guys didn't like explaining the process in details, and it was the worst episode on our channel. So there is a question for you. You can tell us if you'd like to learn more details about our work. Drop your opinion in the comments, but let's get back to the episode. So we get stuck and put it aside for a while. And again, while researching other clubs, we got the idea. Here it is. Black shirt, red logos, red details. What else is red? Lava. Yeah, perfect fit for the Red Devils. So we added a lava texture. It was perfect. And honestly, this design could easily be an official drop. Here is the back of the shirt. Let us know what do you think. And here one more time all the rejected ideas. Alright, next up, Austria, Vienna. At first, we weren't sure about including them, since they only really fit color-wise. But during research, we found something really interesting. In the Austrian Alps, I didn't know about it, they do this event called Krampus Parade, based on Krampus, a half-man, half-goat demon. You can read more about the legend and the festival if you want, but that's exactly what we wanted to reference. Okay, yeah, I know, it's not technically a Halloween thing, it's in December, but it's creepy, and since you guys asked for Austrian clubs, we'll count it. So, as you saw in the process, we created a pattern inspired by the masks, those traditional costumes. Here are some of the eerie rejected versions. Sometimes these designs take way longer than you think. The idea looks simple, but it took us a lot of time to figure out the final composition, and once we refined the details, boosted the colors, finished the back, we got it. That was it. We added the name. Dragovich kinda sounds like Dracula or dragon, like something scary, so it's a perfect fit. Here's the first version, and here's the second, just with a gradient at the top. I think it looks a little more interesting. So check out our course, of course, hop on our Discord, share your video ideas with us. See ya.